Hello students, have a great day and welcome back to our online session. Today we are going to discuss the deadlock prevention and deadlock avoidance. It is also a part of the deadlock handling. But just recall the previous lecture in that we were seeing the deadlock handling. So deadlock handling, there are some different strategies to deal with the deadlock problem. First, that is the ignore deadlock. So in that there is one algorithm, that is the ostrich algorithm, through which we can ignore the deadlock. Second one, that is the detect a deadlock. The technique is used to detect a deadlock is known as a directed resource allocation graph. It is a graphical representation where we can understand the situation of deadlock. For example, there are two processes, that is P1 and P2, which are compete for the resources for R1 and R2. In this example, P1 process already hold the resource R1 but demand for the resource R2. Likewise, process P2 is hold the resource R2 and demand for the R1 resource. This situation is represented in graphical representation to detect a deadlock problem. Second, recover from a deadlock. There are two approaches through which we can recover the deadlock problem. First, that is the suspended or resume a processes. Those processes are suspended that will be resume the process. A process is selected based on a variety of criteria and the suspended for a long time. For example, the low priority processes we can suspend it for a long time, and when one of the waiting process get over, then the original suspended process is resumed. And second approach, that is the kill a process. The operating system decides to kill a process and reclaim all its resources after ensuring that such an action will solve the deadlock. But this solution is simple but involves a loss of processes. Next, that to prevent a deadlock. There are four conditions through which we can prevent a deadlock. It is the mutual exclusion condition, in that the resources are not shared, and at that time the deadlock is never occur. Second, hold and wait. To prevent this condition, process must be preempted from holding one and more resources while simultaneously waiting for one or more other resources. Next, no preemption condition, and last, that is a circular wait condition. These are the four conditions through which we can prevent the deadlock. And last condition, that is the deadlock avoidance. The prevention is still difficulties, therefore a compromise is served by the operating system. So deadlock avoidance is considered with the starting with an environment where a deadlock is theoretically possible, but by some algorithm it is ensured before allocating any resource that after allocating it a deadlock can be avoided. These are the some strategies through which we can handle the deadlock. Today we are going to discuss in detail the deadlock prevention. How to prevent the deadlock. The direct method of deadlock prevention are four conditions, which is already seen in previous lecture, but in short, today we are going to discuss details of deadlock prevention. The first condition, that is the mutual exclusion. The mutual exclusion condition must hold for non-shareable resources. For example, a printer cannot be simultaneously shared by several processes. Shareable resources in contrast do not require mutually exclusion access and thus cannot be involved in a deadlock. Read-only files are a good example of a shareable resource. If several processes attempt to open read-only files at the same time, they can be granted simultaneously access to the file. A process never needs to wait for a shareable resource. In general, we cannot prevent deadlock by denying the mutual exclusion condition because some resources are intrinsically non-shareable. Means if every resource in the system can be shared by multiple processes, deadlock would never occur. But such sharing is not possible in practices. For example, a tab drive, a plotter or printer cannot be shared among the several processes. The best is the spooling technique for the printer, where all the printing requests are handled by a separate program, eliminating the need for sharing. When the spooler is holding the printer, no other process is allowed, even request for a printer. A process is allowed to add the data to the spooler to be printed subsequently. Unfortunately, the same technique cannot be used for all other devices. Therefore, it is very difficult to guarantee that we can avoid this condition. This is a mutual exclusion. In short, the resources in the system can be shared by multiple resources. We can prevent the deadlock. Next condition, that is the hold and wait condition. To prevent this condition, processes must be prevented from holding one and other resources while simultaneously waiting for the one or more others. There are several possibilities for this. Require that all processes request all resources at one time. This can be wasteful of the system resources. If a process needs one resources early in its execution and doesn't need some other resources until much later. And require that processes holding resources must release them before requesting a new resource and then reacquire the released resources along with the new ones in a single new request. This can be a problem if process has partially completed an operation using a resource and then failed to get it reallocated after releasing it. Either of these methods described above can lead to starvation if a process requires one or more popular resources. Means that by prohibiting a processes to wait for more resources while already holding certain resources, we can prevent a deadlock. This can be achieved by demanding that at the every beginning, a process must declare all the resources that are expected to use. The operating system should find out if all these are available and then allow the process to commence. In such a case, the operating system must update its list of free available resources immediately after this allocation. This is an attractive solution, but it is insufficient and wasteful. For example, if a process does calculation for 8 hours updating some files and at the end uses the tab drive for updating the control totals record only for 1 minute, still it has to be allocated to that processes for the entire duration and will remain idle for 8 hours. So no other process can use it during this period. It is a hold and wait. Next, no preemption condition. Preemption of process resource allocation can prevent this condition of deadlock. There are different approaches. Like one approach is that if a process is forced to wait when requesting a new resource, then all other resources previously held by this process are implicitly released. Means forcing this process to require the old resource along with the new resource in a single request, similarly to the prevention. Means that guaranteeing a situation that the no preemption condition not met is very difficult. If we allow the resource allocated to a process to be taken away forcefully from it, may solve the problem of deadlock, but it will give a rise to waste problem. For example, taking away the tab drive forcefully from an incomplete process which has processed only a part of the record on a tab drive. Because some other process required, it will be definitely be an unacceptable situation due to the problem of mounting and dismounting position and so on. There is another approach is that when a resource is requested and not available, then the system looks to see what other processes currently have those resources and are themselves blocked up waiting for some other resources. If such process is found, then some of their resources may get preempted and added to the list of resources for which the process is waiting. Either of these approaches may be applicable for resources whose state are easily saved and restored, such as register, memory, but are generally not applicable to other devices such as printers and tab drives. And the last condition, that is the circular wait condition. If the circular wait condition is prevented, the problem of deadlock can be prevented. One way in which this can be achieved is to force a process to hold only one resource at a time. If it requires another resource, it must first give up the one and then held by it and then request for the another. A process needs to request for all the required resources in a numerical ascending order during its execution. In short, a one way to avoid circular wait is to number all resources and it acquire that process requests resources only in strictly increasing order. In order to request resources is considered as Rj. A process must first release all the Ri such as that I is greater than or equal to j. It is the circular wait. Next, it is the deadlock avoidance. The general idea behind deadlock avoidance is to prevent deadlocks from ever happening by preventing at least one of the condition. Means deadlock prevention is considered with imposing certain restriction on the environment or processes so that deadlocks can never occur. There are still difficulties in deadlock prevention. The operating system aims at avoiding a deadlock rather than preventing one. Deadlock avoidance is concerned with starting with an environment where a deadlock is theoretically possible. It is not prevented, but by some algorithm it is ensured before all allocating any resources that after allocating it, a deadlock can be avoided. If that cannot be guaranteed, the operating system does not grant the request of process for a resource in the first place. Dijkstra was the first person to propose an algorithm to avoid a deadlock. The algorithm is known as a banker's algorithm. Due to its similarity in solving a problem of a bankers waiting to disturb loan to various customers by the limited resources. This algorithm is such that it can know in advance before resource is allocating to processes whether it can lead to a deadlock in two conditions, that is the safe condition and unsafe condition. A safe condition is a state is safe if the system can allocate all resources requested by processes. More formally, a state is safe if there exists a safe sequence of processes, that is P0, P1 up to Pn, such that all the resource requests for Pi can be granted using the resources currently allocated to Pi and all resources all processes Pj where j is less than I. If a safe sequence does not exist, then the system is in an unsafe state, which may lead to deadlock. Here it is an example where 12 tap drives allocated as follows and calculate the safe sequence. What happened? If a process K2 requests and is granted one more tap drive, the key of safe state approach is that when a request is made for resource, the request is granted only if the resulting allocation state is a safe one. Next, this is a resource allocation graph algorithm. We already seen to handle the deadlock. That is one strategy, that is detect a deadlock. How to detect a deadlock? There is one graph through which we can detect the deadlock, that is the directed resource allocation graph. If resource strategies have only single instance of their resources, then deadlock state can be detected by cycle in the resource allocation graph. In this case, unsafe state can be recognized and avoided by argumenting the resource allocation graph with claim edges noted by dashed lines, which is the P1 process is hold R1 resource and demanding for R2 resource. The resources which are demanding, those are highlighted by dashed line. In order for this technique to work, all claim edges must be added to the graph for any particular processes. Before that, the process is allowed to request any resources. Here, our fourth chapter is completed. Thank you.